Welcome to Goldphish, where we explore the future of cybersecurity and training. I'm Esteffan Coetzee from Goldphish, and today we're joined by Terri Davy, COO of the Computer Workshop. Terri, thank you so much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Terri, before we get started, do you quickly want to touch on who you are, what you do, and what the Computer Workshop is all about?
Sure. So I'm, as you said, Terri Davy. I'm the COO of the Computer Workshop. We are an IT and professional development company. We service clients such as large organizations, a lot of banking, finance organizations, also federal and state governments within the United States.
Amazing. And let's maybe just go from the beginning. Can you briefly share your journey so far and basically how the Computer Workshop started?
Sure. So that's interesting in itself. So we are a faith-based, family-owned business, an organization that started in 1988 by my mother and her friend, $50 in the bank in a checking account and then figuring it out, right? In 1990, she incorporated. Her friend left within the first couple of years. She stuck it out. And then in 1992, I joined pretty much fresh out of college as a finance, econ, and banking major. So go figure that one out. Now I'm doing computer technology, right? So when I entered the business, we had 10 employees that were mostly training sales. I ended up in the sales department, which was where pretty much everybody started at that time, right? Unless you were a trainer. Thelma, my mother, was very good at making sure I knew like every part of the business. So she wanted the hardest one first. And I learned everything. And we quickly figured out that I was really good at operations. So anything struggles we had delivering or around the office, technology, just any adversities that we had, I was quick to fix them and figure it out. So that's just where I fell. And I stayed as the operations officer pretty much. Probably I got that title maybe within the first 3 or 4 years of being there. And this is where I've been. This is my journey for over 35 years.
And just touching on that, obviously 35 years is quite a long time within the industry, but also at the Computer Workshop. And have you seen any significant change within the training space or within your space
So, of
specifically?
course, like COVID changed everything, right? So we were a hands-on instructor-led. We are a hands-on, I shouldn't say we are a hands-on instructor-led training company, right? So classroom-based, all of our, from the very beginning, we had classrooms. So people came in, we fed them breakfast, food's always good, coffee, lots of sugar, anything to keep them awake in the classroom. And then we are more of a show, tell, you do type of company. So we explain whatever the feature is that we're trying to get our students to learn, and we show them how to work that feature, and then we have them practice it. So it's pretty much all of our classes are set up that way, is that we go in that model, right? So they follow along and do what we say. So then COVID hit, right? So we marketed primarily against anything that was self-paced, anything that was not instructor led, right? We were not like we didn't like the video training and things like that. So all of our customers wanted to come into the classroom with the instructor in the classroom and take their class. So when COVID hit, most of our students said, you know what, we'll just wait till we can come back to the classroom. And when that turned into months and years, they moved over to the virtual training world. And now nobody wants to come back to the classroom. Right. I shouldn't
Yeah,
say nobody. We have a few people in the classroom, but let's say of a class of maybe 15, maybe 4 people or 2 people are in the classroom.
that's
Significant change.
massive change. And I guess that's
Yes.
a Goldfish. We are big advocates against exactly that. And we are pretty much predominantly online training, which is quite interesting. But Terri, quickly on that topic, obviously we've spoken about that significant change in how COVID came in. But this begs the question of AI. How do you see AI changing your industry, or our industry, so to speak, within the next 12 months?
Oh my goodness. Well, one, you have to learn how to use AI, right? So it's great. Like, everybody wants it. Well, I don't know if everybody wants it. It's all across the board. We do a lot of education just on artificial intelligence, the future of work, how it came about. Like, people think that AI just started, right? But no, AI has been in the works for 50 years. Like, it didn't just pop out of nowhere, but that's what it seems like because the community kind of found it overnight, right? So when they released ChatGPT, there was like this frenzy that went out across everywhere that said, oh my goodness, IT people aren't going to have any more jobs, right? And then we tried to explain, no, you're going to have jobs. You're just going to be able to do them quicker, and oh, by the way, don't believe everything it tells you because it's only fed certain things, it's only fed what people feed it.
Exactly.
So, it's a big learning curve. It's a big understanding curve for the population, non IT. And so we have everything from, man, I can't wait to use it. I can't wait to make my life easier with AI, to I never want to touch it. I don't want it anywhere in my life, even though they use AI every day if they pick up their phone.
Exactly. And I guess just to piggyback on that, I know you mentioned that people were very reluctant to go back into the classroom and that you had to kind of pivot and shift to a more online training platform or basis. Where do you currently see the biggest opportunities in corporate training?
Believe it or not, it is still the upskilling or reskilling of the organization's current staff or onboarded staff. Like, it's a continuous IT changes every day, so it's continuous lifelong learning. So I think the opportunities are there for obviously artificial intelligence, understanding that, programming languages. I think it was AT&T years ago said like every lineman is going to have to learn code. Like, every person in the organization should have some knowledge of basic code writing, right? And I think we're seeing that happen today. Like, people who do all types of jobs, whether that's automotive repair, line work or cable work, or any type of piece of machinery has some type of technology on it. Even farmers these days don't really operate the combine like they used to, right? The combine can almost do it themselves. So I see, it's not that it doesn't take an operator, it's just how are we doing that work today? So, like, if you're going to inspect a bridge, you used to go out and physically inspect the bridge. Now you can use a drone to do that inspection. It's a lot safer for you. It's not as hard on your body. But now I need to know how to operate the drone. I need to know how to read the reports, just know how to get the information that I once wrote down on a piece of paper. So I think it's just a learning curve, and we're going to see those opportunities just shifting the workforce. And even people coming straight out of college, they know how to learn, but they don't have everything that you need to know for business. So we're still going to have to train those folks.
Yeah, I think it's a synergy between human skill and technology. So I know in our space, for example, there's a big reliance on technology to stop cyber criminals, for example, coming in. But your first line of defense is your employees. And I think there's a big emphasis or big pressure placed on your employees to make the right decision, which they should. And basic training will educate them on doing that. But your technology should stop that from happening, right? So they need to work together. And you pretty much summed that up beautifully. So thank you for that. And I think before we wrap up, I've got one more question. How do you ensure your training specifically, your training content stays relevant and up to date?
So that's interesting. It's a tough thing. It's tough, right? So our model is a little different. We write very little curriculum for ourselves. So we purchase a lot of the curriculum from outside vendors or from the technologists themselves. So let's say we're training for Microsoft, we're using Microsoft content. So we're big proponents of that. And basically, let's say Adobe, we're supporting that Adobe, or, even if we were teaching people maybe something that's proprietary, right? We're using content from the developers. Or if we say like there's no real good content, like sometimes that happens, then we write it. So that's kind of our model. So we stay relevant by third parties, basically. And then if there's not a good third party choice, we do that content ourselves. So I think that's it. On the phishing side, I think you guys have the toughest jobs because the criminals are out every day, like just making it harder, right? And they like if they put all that effort towards good in the universe, we'd be so much better off, but they're not. So then we have you, thankfully, to help train.
Well, thank you for that. But whenever there's anything developed for good, it's going to be used for bad as well. And like you mentioned, I mean, AI makes it so much easier for them. Whereas before, they'd have to do all this research themselves, where you can, at bulk, at demand, put together sophisticated phishing attacks and emails and put together detailed profiling of people you want to attack. So it makes things extremely difficult. So, yeah, we do have our work cut out for us.
Yes, you do. I know. We see things come across every day. Somebody, like every once in a while, I'll have to check it. I'll have to like send it to an IT person, go, okay, double check me here. I'm pretty sure this is spam, but just make sure it's right. But we just try to get people not to click on anything that they do not know. Like just point to the link. And to your point, you can do all the IT and AI, and you can set that all up trying to protect yourself. But it really is the end user human that normally makes the error.
Exactly. And here's a fun fact for you: 95% of successful breaches are down to human error. So that just shows you, speaks to your point directly.
From the highest level in the org. Remember that. If you're a high level in the org, you're targeted, right? Because you have the best access to the network. So that's where they target. So I think execs a lot of times don't pay as much attention, don't do the training that they have their team members do sometimes. And that's where those breaches happen.
And
That's
most,
my opinion.
no,
That's the opinion of Terri.
there you have it. It's exactly like that, Terry. It's in order for a successful rollout of a security awareness training program, it all comes down to executive buy-in. If they're not believing in it and they're not pushing it, then why would the rest of the company? So it definitely does come down to them as well. And like you mentioned, they've got the keys to the kingdom. So they're definitely high on that priority list of being attacked. Yeah, you spot on there. Terry, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time and your insight. Terry, if anyone wants to reach out to you or learn more about what you're doing, where can they find you?
Yeah, so the best place, of course, is on the internet. So tcworkshop.com is where our website lands, and you can find all of our class information there. We have over, I think, 700 courses to choose from, everything from desktop technology, professional development, security, productivity tools. So just anything that you can think IT, we teach, and we'd be happy for you to contact us. There's a link there to just contact us. We're an 800 number. Hey, we answer our phones. So if you call an 800 number, we will answer and you can talk to us. Something kind of from the past, but it's definitely fun and a quick way to get a hold of us.
Terry, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your insights.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.